Yes, I
All of
can.
you, right?
Yes.
Right. Okay. So what we learned till now. So we have learned from this chapter project versus program versus portfolio, project constraints, project scope, project team composition, stakeholder management. Did we discuss? Yes, we did discuss, right? Stakeholders
Uh,
management. Then today we will going to yes, today we will going to work on the life of the project, the project change management, and how we will going to close the project. So business analyst, where we will going to discuss about all the methodologies associated with how we can make the project more and more like a vanilla rather than going ups and downs, like so. These are the methodologies to follow. There is no hardcore, uh, I would say, the theories to follow, but these are the one thought process of a good engineers. This is how we can achieve this. Okay, let's get started. So the life of the project, right? So whenever the project will going to start, can you tell me, any of you, when the project will going to start? When when we can say that this project is live now? Yes.
When you have already hired everybody, like related when you already hired the people who are needed for that project.
No.
Once the project sponsor who had a vision and the idea of working on it. So basically, like initiated by one or group of member, which we can call as project sponsor, with the idea of having this work achieved by so and so team members, including like a proper roadmap.
Right.
Once they had, then they can contact through the team of related designated, which we will be affiliated for fulfilling their task or their like vision.
Even if they have a clear idea of what they want to do.
No, whenever the stakeholders, appointed a dedicated person for the project as a project lead, project manager. So by that time, we can say that this project is live. So without Senapati, there is no Sena, right?
Senapati is stakeholder.
Project manager, right? So project manager, once the project manager is hired and outline the what they want to do, they means all the stakeholders, other stakeholders, program manager, and all other things, what we discussed earlier. So by that time, we can say that this project is live. Then after what happens, the first person who will going to join the team is the wingman, right?
Who?
Wingman.
PA.
Yes, right. Everybody needs a wingman. Without wingman, you cannot fly. So, be a person is necessary to identify project stakeholders, creating the stakeholders register, which is basically a list of all project stakeholders' priorities according to their importance, impact, and interest of the project. Right. So basically, the second step would be the hire of business analyst to get things done, to get things rolling. We will going to discuss about all the things associated with what kind of document you will going to make as a business analyst during this time of radio. The project manager is the first person will going to join, and the second person is BNS. So once BNR is joined, you should start hit the ground and start working on everything. You have to create a request management plan. So you will going to talk with stakeholders. What is the management plan and what they want to achieve this particular project from? What is the agenda for them? Why they are doing this? Why they are wasting freaking millions of dollars of creating this project? Why they want to save 2 seconds, why it is necessary for their business. So those kind of things, you will going to ask. So business requirement document, that is the document where you will going to ask why they are doing this, why business has this necessity to do this certain kind of project, why they want to save 2 seconds, right? And the functional document you can get from the functional people. So the functional people are, they want to see some certain functionality, how they want to achieve it, that is not their problem. That problem is belong to a technical manager or team lead or whoever is, technically uh, uh, you know ace person in the team. Once he get hired or she get hired, right? So these three documents, first is requirement management. So you have to remember this jargon, RMP, BRD, FRD, because nobody will going to say functional requirement documents. Everybody say FRD. And then, you will going to think, oh, this is my first day of job. What the hell she's talking about or he is talking about, right? So you have to remember those things and try to do that, um, research about it. So that is your task as well. So by not Monday, because Monday you all guys have to submit that ARVR project, right?
Mhm.
So when are you feeling comfortable? Research about all the documentation about require management planning, business requirement document.
Uh, I would say like probably Wednesday.
Wednesday I'm not here, so Thursday.
Yeah, for you Thursday.
But it's better when I listen to him, so I get ideas, right? It's better if you
No,
don't know.
you will not going to copy from him.
No,
He
not
will not going to
copy.
work with.
No, not copy. It's not copy. It's getting ideas. So you know,
So let's do it on Thursday, everybody, right?
yeah. Let's do
This
Thursday.
this this
Okay.
will this will applicable to Malav as well if he is going to continue.
Okay.
So I will going to create a email for this after this meeting. Okay. So you have to research about it. What are the documentation you have to create and how? What is the format of it? And if you are managed to get some kind of template or something online, right? I'm pretty much sure you will
Mhm.
get a bunch of videos about it.
About this document.
Yes, yes. These are the universal thing. Okay.
Mhm.
So then after what we're going to project manager with some involvement of the business analyst start working. So after that, business analyst create this document or on the side by side it will going to work. So project manager will going to hit the ground with associated working with you or besides with you, estimate the resources. So it will going after that, he will going to, once money and everything is provided to project manager, it depend on the PM that how he will going to utilize it. If he want to spend $100,000 on coffee, he can spend $100,000 on coffee, right? So once the resources, he will going to estimate the resources, duration needed. He wants to understand that, right? How much time it will going to take to create some functionality from the functional requirement document. He will going to understand, how much time it will going to take. He will going to hire bunch of team members, right? And what he will going to create, he will going to create a PMP document, project management planning document. That is also a necessary thing. You can,
PMP.
yes, PMP. Yeah, it's over here. Sometimes some dumb project manager will going to give you task to create a PMP as well, right? That is responsibility of project manager, not you. But if anything happened and somebody who is dumb enough to give you the job, I would say never ever hesitate to do that job. Everybody will going to notice it. It will going to impact your signature move within the organization. It is highly encouraged and recommended thing to do. Never, never, ever, afraid of any challenges. That's how you grow, right? So that's how project manager PM will going to create a project management planning working with you. Uh, then what we need to discuss? Then we need to discuss the graph. Are you able to see this?
Very much, yeah,
This one?
completely.
Are you? Okay. So this is a diagram for how to project management will going to start, and developer project management will going to happen. You can see over here, you can see my cursor, right? Over
Hmm.
here is the main center thing. Over here developers execute the project, tester verify the scope, UAT means user acceptance
Acceptance
test.
tests.
You can note it down. UAT means user acceptance test. Most of the time user will be not there. It's called user acceptance test, but most of the time user will be not there. There is a representative would be the stakeholders. If the change request happened, you can see that this dotted line development of project, everything will be over here. And you can see over here the first phase of the project, create a project character, then identify the stakeholder analysis. That work you have to do as a business analyst right over here. Impact assessment, elicit the requirement, that is also a part of your business as a business analyst. Create RP, RMP, BRD, FRD, RTM, everything.
What is RTM?
Request, request, RTM, request test, RTM. FRD, RTM. Okay.
No,
What?
okay.
So RTM called request requirement traceability matrix. So you will going to create some graph.
Requirement.
Requirements traceability matrix. Let me send you over. How do you going to trace all the requirement, right? Matrix basically a graph. So RTM is required for the test cases whenever we are doing some testing. QA will not we, but QA will going to do the testing. They will going to take this, and most of the time QA will going to create a BDD document. BDD QA, make a note of it. QA will going to create a BDD, batch driven development.
This is also a document.
Yes, that is it will going to work instead of RTM. They will going to create BDD document. So BDD from they will going to create that document from FRD and try to break it down everything into small chunks, and understand all the requirements from RMP, BRD, and FRD, and try to break it down all the things whatever the necessary requirements from the functional and all the other aspect of the point of view, management point of view. And BDD has a in a very lame language they have defined, in a very English language they have defined that we need to create a user has to create it. So whenever they are doing testing they will going to refer that document. This is the old school way to approach the problem by QA. Understood?
So QA is
Mhm.
quality analyst, right? Quality analyst.
Right. QA means quality analyst. Define activity, plan processment, development schedule, develop budget. All those things are part of the process for the project manager. So plan procurement means what? Plan procurement, whatever they require resources, sometimes they require computers, servers. Those are the procurement process. So gather whatever the things is required. So it will be facilitated by facility provider. In our case, that would be a PM, project manager. He has the authority to do this thing. So, do you have any question uh, on this diagram and initializing, planning, development phase, testing? It is a
No.
very simple process.
Uh,
Yeah, yeah, Abdul.
yeah, I mean, I just want to understand the work I mean, what actually represent RTM or RMP.
Create RMP, BRD, FRD,
We talked about it, right? What is RTM?
Yeah, but what exactly? Is it a document or is it
No,
a
it's a
specific?
matrix. Matrix created from RMP, BRD, and FRD documents. So it has all the requirements matrix. You can represent
Mhm,
in a matrix. So anybody can track. This is the requirement. Requirement number
mhm.
one. The user has to create. So that requirement progress you can see in the matrix.
Okay, so basically this one will not be a a task by one any individual. Let's say, for example, there is a requirement
Hmm.
of like three requirements. The first one is project has to be done in so and so time. The
Most
second
of the
one,
time you don't have to create RTM because that is not your cup of tea.
So
okay.
BA doesn't create
Mm-hmm.
RM. Oh. So we only
Mm-hmm.
do RMP, BRD, and FRD. Only three documents that a BA does. Okay.
And PMP sometimes.
And PM sometimes. Okay.
You will going to
So
assist to
he
make
is
a
four for
yes,
BA.
yes,
Okay.
yes. That is basically a matrix of any requirement. So all requirement you break it down into small thing and create a
Mm-hmm.
matrix. So you can track it down, as the time expands. Where are you right now? You don't need to create this one. On Gantt chart, when you create epics and story and everything, you can create a Gantt chart as well. From Gantt chart, you can see that where is my requirement, where are we right now with the timeline,
Okay.
right?
So
This is a
it's just kind of reminder.
yes, kind. So all these stakeholders, they don't have time to go deep dive and understand where are we right now and what time left, right? And how much
Mhm.
effort we need to do. They just need to see if the some certain functionality is 70% done, and how much time we have. Is it able to complete in certain timeline? What are the timeline for each requirements, right?
So it is something which done automatic, like updation, everything goes automatic.
Right
Nothing like.
now, right
Mhm.
now, the wise Scrum Master will going to create
Mhm.
a Gantt chart. If
Okay.
that person is not going to create a Gantt chart, it is hard to monitor all the things, and people will going to ask questions.
Got it
Right? Understood?
Yeah.
completely.
Malav, do you have any question?
No.
So matrices look like something like this. This is called matrix, right? This is a graph. So this is a change, cost of change. If we change something, right? If we have feature document is ready, everything is ready, and then another stakeholder came and they says that, let's, I want to add one more features. I want to, whenever we are adding user, we need to add all the user has to be a kind of a social networking tree. So there is a friend request and everything, going to happen. That is a small thing you can say in a one sentence, but actually it will take a lot of time, right? You have to create the tables, link tables associated with your friends and everything. You have to link one person to another. Another person will have multiple friends in it, and you have a multiple discipline of friends. This is your family friend. This is my close friend. This is my hi-fi friend, right? So because of that, the time and cost both will go skyrocket. So as you see over here, there is a phase of requirement. Then after there is a phase of analysis. Then there is a phase of development. Then there is a phase of testing. Then there is a phase of deployment. So over here, all of all of five, which will going to work in a cycle motion, because all will going to happen in a agile methodology. We will going to talk about it agile methodology later, but still, just to give you a hint of it, it's not a waterfall model everybody follow
Hmm.
most of the time, right? One requirement is gathered, then we will going to move on. It's not like that. So as you can see, this is the costing. The cost go skyrocket at a deployment. So if anything change, then it will go beyond that. It will be here somewhere. Just to give you the idea about it. So whenever any change will going to happen, so you have to create, or there is a change control board. Change control board. There is a that is a technical word for that.
Change control board.
Yes, change control board. So that those are the people from the team who is responsible to accept any change request or reject any change request. So if somebody will going to tell that I want to change something, so that is called change request. It is a formal request submitted by the downstream work. Whenever you are working or already working on something, right? The project is running. Suppose 20 or 30% is completed. A change could be modification of requirement, add, remove, update, design, maybe scope as well, or even policies of a procedure. No, it is not there. This is the I will going to explain it
So
later.
who
Hmm?
so when somebody initiates any change, who approves?
No, that's I'm going to tell that is a change control word, right?
So they do the
Yeah.
approval.
So if somebody will going to tell you, you don't have to read this book. There is another book. Then you will going to think that that is a good idea. Is that a good idea? No, it is not. I already finished
I already
20% of it.
exactly.
Why would I
Go to a
go
new
back,
one.
right? So every thought process, because somebody has a wild idea
So
at
it
the
will
middle
be
of night,
evaluated.
it doesn't mean we will going to change our scope of the project, right?
Got it.
So we have a some certain methodology to follow. It is not depending on one person decision. It is a joint decision. Everybody has a brain, right? So that is called change request. Whenever any update, add, remove, designing or scope, anything change,
How likely is it supposed to happen? Like how
100%.
every time it
Yeah.
happens?
Every time means it will happen likely a life cycle, during the life cycle of the project, most frequently. So change control board is a designated group who eventually the change request impact on the project. organization approve or reject the request. Can be reject. It does not mean that
So it
everybody.
doesn't affect the budget?
Huh?
It doesn't affect the budget?
Depending on the request, how big or how complicated is
Okay,
the
suppose it
request.
affected the budget, so then you need more money for the change. So now they will fund more money.
So that's why this change control board is there, right? So change control board will going to discuss. That is a group of the people from your team. It includes you as well, be a analyst, project manager, designer, developer, everybody.
Not
Huh?
stakeholder.
Stakeholders is not part of change control board, right? Change stakeholders is a part of change requester.
But not change control.
They can override it. Stakeholders can override your decision, right?
Then if they override, what do you do?
You have to do it. Project manager has to agree on that. Project manager will say, I need 20,000 extra for this completing this request. They say, yes, we definitely will going to provide. You have to do it. And I need 2 more months to complete the project. If they say yes, then why are you not doing that? Then the correctiveness action. When a change request is accepted by CCB, it is time to take corrective action, implement that change, and that is your part of the job as a BA, that you will going to make change of all the requirements documents, right? If there is change, then you have to update all the documents, right? BA. You have to make a change log, that is called change log.
Change what?
Change log. You will going to make a log. Log means
Change law.
yeah. And cost of change also. You have to track cost of change, because everything is money, 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 right? So this is a process we will going to follow. Change request process flow. This is a flow chart of change request. First of all, identify the changes, whatever the changes. Evaluate impact on the project. How bad or good it will going to impact the project in respect to the money, in respect to the time, right? Create a change request. Then after, you will going to create a change request. uh, Detail assessment, what kind of change we need to do for some certain functionality. Then CCB approve. CCB will going to approve or reject or
If no, then reject it.
yes,
Then if yes, then implement.
yes. Then implement and communicate the changes with the stakeholders. Yes, we did it. All golden. Everybody's happy. Let's go home. Right now, we might go a little bit overflow over here, but we don't. Probably because this is the last topic of the discussion for this chapter. But let's see. So, are you guys comfortable, right? If we
Yeah.
go 5 or 10 minutes, Abdul.
Yes.
I have no issue.
Okay.
That's fine.
Marav,
Yes,
do you have any
that's
issue?
fine.
Okay,
No issues.
great. So close the project when you know that it is a shutter down time, right? So shutter down time means when everything is all the requirement has been fulfilled, all the testing people has marked the check mark that this is good to go, everything is deployed, everything is running. Then what happened? You have to show to the boss,
Whatever.
stakeholders. They have to happy. If they are happy, then they can release. Business people, those people who requested this thing. So SME, those people. What is SME?
Subject matter experts.
Correct. Very good. So those people who is responsible for this project, stakeholders, cumulatively we can say stakeholders, they has to approve. Everybody say kabule, 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 and then done. You are married. So this thing will going to happen in all the projects. You have to show the demo. Everybody want to see the demo. Rancho Das Chatter says, without demo, nobody's agreed with your words, because those are the words. Nobody, will going to believe that. You have to see the product. You have to feel it. So first thing will going to happen is handover deliverables. Formally hand over the product. Maintenance procedure. What is the maintenance procedure? Once the it is deployed, right? So I told you about monitoring, right? Tesla website will going to have some certain like millions of users for that particular time frame. Then you have to deploy that particular product, create a multiple instance so you can manage or reroute the traffic. So your website, your performance of the product will not going to be compromised. So because of that, you will going to need a dedicated team which will going to monitor and maintain the project. So maintenance procedure is necessary, and that is your part of the job, that all the documentation is properly provided whenever they are hand over this thing to another team or another dedicated persons. So as a BA, you have to make sure whenever they are, or they means your team is hand over to somebody else, there has to be properly documented. Whenever it is required, training is necessary. We can say training slash KT. KT means knowledge transfer. You can make a note out of it as well. Training slash KT, knowledge transfer. That is a technical word. Lot of time you can see KT, knowledge transfer. Handover must be formal, recorded, and ensure transfer of responsibility. So, whatever you are doing, it has to be a formal procedure. You have to, you don't need to send all the messages or text message or Slack message. It has to be a proper email conversation. So, if somebody is denying, then you will going to tell that we have a proof that we hand over very properly. We had a meeting, we have a minutes of meetings, we discussed this topic, and everybody agreed. So there would be no problem. So witness is necessary. Never trust anybody. Admin and financial closeout. So whenever any, once you will going to hand over, then money people will going to come and see that how much they have spent. That is responsibility comes under PM, project manager. Archiving of project files, whatever the project files you have or your team has created during that time period. Client documentation of operation, the product you have created newly. A simple language documentation with the screenshot or recorded video, which include all kind of information about the project that is required. That is called client documents. Complete financial closure. So that includes, this is how much budget you had. You have spent this much of budget. That includes hiring people, providing the salary of the people who is working under that project. That is between project manager and the financial team he is going to talk with. BA will not be a part of it, but it's good to know for as a B, right? Then the contract completion. The once the contract is over, for formal acceptance, everybody has to accept. Payment received, everybody has to paid. Subcontractor also paid. You will going to work as a subcontractors, so everybody will going to pay. That is also part of project manager. That is not. Yes, prepare for the post project review. Once everything is formally done, prepare for the, once the project is done, then that is called the post project review. The main purpose of is to record a lesson learned to be used in the future projects. If you are working there for after completion of a project as a business analyst, that you have to take care of that. Hold a closeout meeting with the client or a senior management to formally close the project and ensure there are no outstanding issues. So there must be no any issues left in from the requirement perspective to the project stakeholders. Complete final performance reporting. So you have to have complete final performance reporting if you are if you are will be there after the project is closed, and solicit feedback from the customer about the project. Then you will gather the feedback. That is the high feedback path is the crucial process of any of the development. Rather you are developing a software or a product or anything, feedback is necessary. Whether it's good, bad, or ugly, you need to know. All need to know. Everybody wants to know. That's it, and chapter 2 is closed. It's done.